Hello, this is Angela with Parkrose Permaculture. I was not anticipating making a video today, but my kids and I went to step outside our front door to go on our daily bike ride to the dairy park, and there was a package on the front steps. So I wanted to make a video opening up this plant order that arrived. So I was originally expecting it to come next week because they said they would be shipping April 26th. But apparently last night they sent me a message that they had shipped earlier than expected, and it arrived today. So I know I made an unboxing video a while ago when I was more anxious and nervous about appearing on camera, but you can check that out. It's about getting my perennial tree collard cuttings. If you need to source perennial veg, sometimes it's really hard to find them in your local area, and ordering by mail is the only option. So that's true for me as well, even though Portland has a big diversity of plant nurseries. More unusual perennial vegetables can be hard for me to source. So I have gotten a number of them this year via the mail. And I thought I would try and make a consistent effort to share those with you all so you can see what you should expect if you order them, see the ups and downs and benefits or maybe risks of ordering perennial vegetables from online nurseries. All right, so my order came from Goodwin Creek Gardens. Before people freak out that my address is visible here, someone actually asked me for my address about a week and a half ago, inquiring if they could send me seeds. My address is a public business, so before COVID I had fruit and nut tree and berry bush sales here and taught classes here, so I'm not super stressed about my address being public. But so Goodwin Creek Gardens, I've never ordered from them before, and the reason that I ordered from them is they were the only US source of Welsh onion that I could find that was not out of stock. I've been looking for Welsh onions for a number of years. Apparently they're really common and easy to get in the UK, go figure, and in Japan they're also called a Japanese perennial onion. They are very hard to find on the west coast of the United States. As long as I was gonna pay shipping, I figured I'll order a couple of other things, right? The bulk of your cost when you are ordering perennial vegetables is generally not the cost of the plant or the cutting, it is the cost of the shipping. So they don't weigh very much. Little baby plants and cuttings weigh almost nothing. So as long as I am gonna go ahead and order one thing, I'm gonna go ahead and order 3. So let's get this package open and I'll show you what I got. I'm really excited about this. Now, if you notice here at the bottom, to ship to Oregon, there's a number of things that you can't legally get shipped to Oregon because of our agricultural restrictions. So sometimes sourcing like fruit crops can be difficult online, but I have not had any problem getting perennial vegetables shipped here. But things like, sometimes if you want to order stone fruit, because we grow so much of it here in Oregon, or apples and pears, a lot of nurseries won't ship here. So, but again, perennial vegetable, have not had any problem shipping from a number of companies this year. Really excited to see what these look like. Okay, so in some of the orcharding and vegetable growing groups I'm in, particularly the fruit growing groups, people order bare root things and they arrive and folks are a little bit disappointed. Like, this is some scrawny looking crap. Like, is this really what I paid 24 bucks for or $4 for? And the reality is, if you're getting a bare root or you're getting a little tiny start of something, it's gonna come just emerging out of dormancy, or if bare root still totally dormant, and it's gonna come very petite, and it's not gonna be big and lush and green. That's not the point of it, but it will still be alive. And don't stress, plant it, it'll be fine. Sometimes, like I had my perennial broccoli / Turkish rocket video recently, they came more diminutive than I had expected, and so I needed to keep them in the house for a while. They're still in the house. All of them are doing great and getting more leaves, but most of the time when you order from an online nursery, those things should be ready to plant out in the garden. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that these are like that. So let's look here. So it should come with the how to remove plant from box instructions. That's very nice. It says, remove staples from the outside of your box, located on the lower half. You can use a staple remover if you want. Cut the tape securing the bottom of the box and carefully push plants through the bottom of the box. Do not lift them up. So I clearly did this upside down. They must expect you to, because the instructions are on the top. So I'm going to follow their instructions here and cut this open on the bottom. These plants here are actually stapled to the side of the box so they can't bounce around in shipping. So that's really nice. I'm really glad they took the time to secure them so that the foliage doesn't get bruised and damaged. So I'm gonna need to remove those staples. By the way, while I am making this video, I am using an old table that I got by the side of the road, at the beginning of COVID. And it is our out back, eat dinner, work on crafts, messy kid crafts table. And carpenter bees have taken up residence in the holes in the side. And so they've been coming and going. That creates some nice habitat for them. They're not gonna bother me, they're not gonna sting me. Carpenter bees are good pollinators. And if I give them this old worn out table to nest in, that creates habitat for them, and they aren't tempted to maybe go build in the side of my neighbor's roof line or something, or deck or something like that. Okay, so I have the staples out. Okay, so ultimately I found pushing the plants out through the bottom was tricky, and it was much easier for me to cut all the way down the side and then just fold it open like this. So with the staples removed, I can take my plants out. I'm really excited. Hey, they all look pretty darn good. So I ordered 3 plants, and the first of which is the Welsh onion that I told you. So Welsh onion, Allium fistulosum, is a perennial bunching onion, and it's typically used as a spring onion. Some of the more improved varieties will make a small white onion at the bottom. It is larger than an Egyptian walking onion. And obviously, so in terms of size, we're looking at chives, Egyptian walking onion. Even bigger is going to be the Allium fistulosum. So I'm very excited to get this going in my garden. We love green onions. We eat a ton of them. Any kind of spring onion, my family can't get enough of them. So having a diversity of them is going to be a really good thing. So I'm excited to try these in my garden. So this little plant right here is American groundnut. And as you can see, well, it's been taped down. Let me stretch it up for you. Hang on a second. It's nice of them to carefully tape it down. It is a vine. And it will get more than 10 feet tall. I'm gonna put it over one of my arches. So American groundnut is obviously native to North America. It is a leguminous plant that is commonly grown in Asia and was a traditional indigenous food crop here in the States. And I'm not sure why it has not caught on so much in the US, because it fixes nitrogen in the soil, has lovely flowers. It produces tubers. They're not really nuts. They're tubers about the size of a potato off of rhizomes under the soil. And the tubers have 10 times as much calcium and I think more than twice as much iron. I'll fact check that, and if that's wrong, I'll make a correction. As a potato of the same size. They're very nutritious. They taste much like a potato. They have that starchy, fluffy texture, slightly waxy, but they have also kind of a nutty aftertaste. So you get all the benefit of a potato, but kind of more complex flavor and more nutrition. And again, they fix nitrogen in your soil. So I'm really excited to get these growing. Now, depending on where you live, American groundnut may be invasive. So generally things that spread by rhizomes and produce tubers underground, this plant does both, are going to be a plant that can get out of control in certain situations. So just do your due diligence before you plant it. Now, the last plant I have here is Laurus nobilis, which is the bay laurel from which we get bay leaves. You can grow them in a pot. They do very well as a topiary. In fact, traditionally in a lot of European gardens, that's how they're grown, in a pot as a topiary that you can move in and out. If you plant it in the ground, it can get 20 feet tall. It's also called Grecian laurel and sweet bay. So my plan is to grow it in a pot and be able to move it into my mud room if we have a real bad cold snap. So on a pot with wheels, because it'll be heavy when it's mature. But that way I can harvest my own bay leaves, hopefully share some with folks, and not have to buy them anymore, and have a local free source of bay. That will be really exciting because I do use it a lot in cooking. If you look at my Instagram, I make a lot of homemade pasta sauce and I use a lot of bay leaves. Okay, so you can see the size of each of the pots. These weren't very expensive, by the way. I'll put the link in the description to this nursery if you want to order from them. Overall, I'm really happy. I really like that they taped the plants down into the box and then stapled the box into the shipping package so that there was no jostling and moving around. They were a lot more secure, and you can see there's no damage to any of these plants, so I'm really excited about that. They trimmed the allium here to fit it in the box, not a problem. So these now, I'm gonna cut them apart, and this is gonna go in a pot for a while. This is gonna go directly in the garden, and this is going to get planted in a wheelbarrow near a trellis. I'm not ready to unleash it into the rest of the garden until I know that it will behave and not get out of control in my climate. So I'm gonna take a wheelbarrow and plant this in it, and I'll make a video on that soon. Don't worry. So thank you for watching. That's my order of Apios Americana, the American groundnut, Allium fistulosum, the Welsh onion, and Laurus nobilis, the sweet bay laurel, all from Goodwin Creek Nursery. I'll be back. Thank you so much for watching when I wasn't planning on making a video, and maybe you weren't planning on watching one today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. That means a lot to me. It helps increase traffic to my little tiny channel. And please subscribe and let me know if there's things you're interested in watching. Thanks.